Aftercare After Dark is intended for mature audiences. If you're under the age of 18, we would ask you to leave this broadcast immediately and patiently await your formal invite to the grown folks table. We sometimes discuss topics that can be triggering for some. Please refer to the show's notes for episode-specific trigger warnings and resources. Thank you for listening.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Aftercare After Dark. My name is Miss G.
And I'm Yolanda. We're two sisters helping each other navigate these kink streets. Aftercare is time spent communicating and taking care of your partner after sex and or play. But who does this vital work when you're single? We are here for each other and those of you who are also exploring. Well, hello, everyone. We're in a mood today. And today we are talking about red flags in relationships. So I'm working on the 3 relationships that I've already had and the 3 mini relationships that I have encountered while on this year-long odyssey of dating online, which has come to an end, by the way. Congratulations for us.
That's bullshit. You're still on field.
I'm on field, but I'm only responding. I'm not looking. You have to be spectacular.
So that doesn't apply.
Listen.
You're like, I'd installed all the things. Okay, so that choice was forced on me. I got banned.
How did you get banned? No, tell the story.
It ain't the first time I've been banned from a dating app. I got banned because I dropped my Venmo. And the thing, now I have a thing. When you come out with a plethora of requests for yourself, right? When you start like coming out with requests of like, I want this and I want that, I want this and I want that, the quickest and easiest way for me to determine whether or not you're a bullshitter and or to shut it down is to just drop my Venmo. They scatter like roaches real quick and fast in a hurry.
Have you ever considered, so like there are a bunch of these ladies online that give social elegance talks and where to find the non-brokies, the like female version of pickup artists. You want the soft life, this is where you find that guy. Hang out at the cigar lounge, hang out here. This is the bar that you need to be at. This is where the finance bros are. One of them's just really funny is make sure that lace is that lace front is showing. Hard wig, soft life. She has this thing about like white people lane, like where to go to find.
Country club.
Yes. Have you thought about doing that?
Listen, we were online. Why were we online? Convenience. The convenience of reaching a multitude of different personalities and different kinds of people within the comfort of your own home without having to leave the house. That's the appeal of online thing. So now obviously we're banned. And now we're going to have to do some manual labor.
But you like going out. Like, that's the thing. I don't like leaving my house. I have to plan to leave my house.
It comes and goes in waves. Sometimes I just get the scratch and I go out and do things, but that's the difference, right? When I go out, I'm going out for myself. It's always the same stuff. I have my favorite restaurants that I go to and my favorite bars that I go to, and that's my solo date. Sometimes I'll take myself out to the movies. Those are my solo dates, and solo dates are for me. I actually had this conversation with somebody who approached me at an event. I dropped it in our DMs, hey, let's get a date on the books. And his response was, I want to see you at more events so we can I want you to feel comfortable around me because I mentioned something before. Second time meeting this gentleman, he went to squeeze past me while we were outside smoking. And he kind of just put his hands on my shoulders or something. This is the things that guys do. They're trying to be warm and inviting. I don't know why they do it.
You see my eyes, right? I'm like,
I don't know why they do it, but they rationalize in their head that this is something that's okay to do to somebody you don't know. And so when he did that, from his point of view, completely harmless gesture. From my point of view, I don't fucking know you. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Right.
And so I did tell him, I was like, I have no interest in anything with you other than platonic. I don't feel safe around you. I feel edgy. And I have to learn to listen to that, because when I'm feeling that way, that's because I know and I'm feeling that there's something that they want that they're not communicating. That's a story for another time. We went on a date and it all came out in that date. But leaving the house, going out to these new places, exploring these new places, that's a work in progress.
Oh, don't curse me out. The only thing I'm on is field. And the only reason I'm still there is because I paid for it. I gotta get my money's worth. I got the notification. Your subscription is about to renew from Apple, right? and I canceled my subscription. So I will have access to the benefits of Field until September 21st. I told you I was going to keep it because I paid for it. And if I paid for it, I'm going to get my value.
That's fine, but don't say that you stopped online dating.
I stopped doing
You're still talking to people.
I'm still talking to people online.
You're about to go on a date with a couple. You're still dating. You had yourself a little rut, and that's totally fine.
Because I did delete it. I did delete it for a week. And I didn't feel like, oh, I need to go back to this. It wasn't an itch. My firm belief is if I'm going to meet the quality individuals that I desire, the people that value me and are willing to invest and willing to appreciate. And this is why I keep the text. You get on me for like texting too much and having the back and forth, but this helps me clarify where I'm at. And I was asked, what do you want from this Field experience? That was a specific question. I hadn't given it any thought, but organically, my requirements came out. I need to feel safe. That was number one, safety. Two, I need to feel appreciated. You value me. You want to spend time with me. You appreciate the beauty and the effort that I put into myself. You appreciate the intelligence, like all of it. I am a lot of things, not just sex. Some people latch onto that and they can't let go of it and not realize that it comes with a lot of stuff, depth, intimacy. That's what I crave. So safety, appreciation. And the third one is connection. You need to get to know me. I need to get to know you. That's where the magic happens for me. Some people can wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, their way to a happy sex life. Be blessed. Be blessed. But me, myself personally, connection, repetition, consistency. Okay, we can have all the adventures in the world in something that has structure. Those are the three things that I require. So you show me appreciation by doing certain things. You show me that I'm safe by behaving a certain way. And connection, is it constant? I can't constant with anybody. I've got a life, and I have a life, a whole full life outside of my romantic connection. It's not the thing that drives me. I understand that there is this thing called animal attraction where people see each other and it's thunderbolts and lightning flashes and everything else like that. For me, it doesn't work that way. I'm a little slower. I'm good with that because I think it gets better. My first time with anyone is never the best time. Now, I've had some extraordinary first time sex, but like I build, I figure it out. That's what I want to do. I problem solve. So like, come and ask me some dumb shit like what I bring to the table.
Anybody who comes at me with that question, I just immediately get up and leave. That question does come out with us in conversation, but it's not something that I lead with a person on a date, especially somebody that I want.
It was in text. So I ask a lot of questions. It's a curiosity. I want to get to know you. I am a service-oriented person. So like, I want to know what makes you tick so I can make you happy. And that makes me happy in turn.
The next time anybody asks me that, what do you bring to the table? I bring exact same shit you bring to the table. So,
and if it's nothing,
it's nothing. But this leads us straight into this current episode. Today's episode is about relationship red flags.
And so my first one, inconsistencies, also known as little lies. Start telling them in the beginning and you cannot come back from them. And they start piling up, right? All three of my relationships in the last year, the friction point comes right before we start settling into, I've gotten to know a lot about you. I know what your character is. I know who you are. Starting into routine. What does our day-to-day look like, or our week-to-week look like, or our bi-weekly thing look like? So the 7-week thing for me is, I guess, equivalent for other people for the 90 days. Your girl's intense. I get through a lot of the small talk and the getting to know you while we're in chat, to be perfectly honest. Then there's the date, and I'm not in chat for long. People like talking to me, giving me information. I'm only too happy to receive that. I ask a lot of questions. What turns me on, what gets me is if you reciprocate with good questions, because I think best when I am prompted. So I want people to do for me what I do for them. That 7-week thing it's a thing. This is the third time. Now it's a pattern. Now it's a pattern. 7 weeks is where the friction starts because we become regular. And then the responsibility comes. It's no longer 100% fun. I think the first 7 weeks weeks is my honeymoon period. Everything's fun. Everything's great. Well, that's not true. Not everything's great because I've made it a habit. If I feel something, I say something so that it doesn't become a thing where it's okay because it's happened a bunch of times and I never said anything. So if I am uncomfortable, if I am bothered, if I am concerned, I will raise my hand and I'll say, this bothered me. This scared me. This concerned me. We talked about this and something happened and I didn't appreciate it. Let's talk about it. I am 100% forward in that. I do not hold that anymore. I used to hold it.
Inconsistency, white lies, rolls right into words need to match your actions. Don't tell me that you're going to do XYZ and you do the complete opposite, or you do it for a little bit and then you start phasing off and breadcrumbing me later. So in episode 1, we talked about when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. And that comes in with inconsistency. Inconsistency is in what? Communication, inconsistency in words, stories, and then like, do your words match what you're doing? And this also can fall in the dating phase. It can also fall into the vetting phase, the first date, and then red flags in relationships. They all kind of just like all come in. Like, what's a relationship to you? In this part, I would say romantic attachment. We're dating. Labels have been brought to the table,
Assigned.
so I think for you, it's like week 7 on average. When do you think the word we're dating, we're in a relationship started?
I want to say week 4. Week 4 is the like we are dating, we are a thing, and then week 7 is when the friction, where the friction happens. The big thing breaks it up. So my first relationship, 4 years, one night stand. I was married. That was my second relationship. I was married. Again, nobody teaches you how to be married, or your parents do, and oh my God.
No, they suck.
This is the thing about lying in relationships. Everybody comes on hot and heavy. They like a thing, they want a thing to be around, and then withdrawal, space, emptiness, trying to bullshit you into thinking that your dynamic is something other than what it is. Oh, we didn't talk about enmeshment. We didn't talk about getting this close. I didn't want a relationship. I wanted to be connected, but a whole relationship? No, no. Listen, you can't give me enough time. I've got the receipts. I read these texts. The text, I read the subtext. Oh, this is what you were trying to say. You were trying to say, I'm not going to treat you this way all the time. That was just for me to hook you.
So number 2, breadcrumbing. Okay, so what's breadcrumbing? For me, it's the equivalent of love bombing and or attention bombing, right? You bombard me with all this attention, the chasing phase. You bombard me with all this attention, and then you start phasing off and being inconsistent with it. I don't make it hard, right? When I'm interested and I want to get to know you, I say it. I'd love to get to know you. I would like to see you more. I would like to spend more time with you. I would like to be around you more. I'm very direct in that way. It's odd to me because I keep running into it when I say shit like this to people. Like this gentleman that I had a recent date with, I told him, hey, let's get a date on the books. And he came back with, I'd like to see you at more events. Let's meet up at events more. I'm like, I'm going to pause you right there. First of all, when I'm at an event, 9 times out of 10, I'm hosting. If I'm hosting the event, I'm not going to be able to give you that individualized time and attention. I'm hosting. My attention is on the room. If I am out at an event by myself, that's me taking myself out on a solo date. I'm not going to be in the frame of mind to get to know you on an intimate level. It just doesn't work that way for me. I've had men specifically get butthurt about this because they met me at an event and tried to convince me to go out to the bar later. No, my itinerary was this event. I paid money to be at this event. I'm going to be at this event and then I'm going to go home after. If you would like to get to know me, you can ask me out on a date. But as far as like poaching me to get me to go somewhere because it's inconvenient because you're already out, it's not going to work.
No, it's the like I'm trying to get you to bed. That's what it is. We had a good time in a communal setting. I'm going to get you alone. I'm going to sweet talk you, and then hopefully you're going to come home with me. That's what that. I'm just telling you what the thought process is.
What's the next one for you?
Money. So they lie about money while they're dating, but they're still paying.
It's going to keep being a thing. I know a lot of men hate this. You can financially struggle. Dating is a financial investment. Didn't your daddy ever teach you this?
The truth of the matter is it's not. It's not. But if you don't have money, you better be creative. You better be creative.
I would interject there. When people are in survival mode, there's survival.
Well, okay, so there's not having money. And then there's poverty, right? You shouldn't be going out because you need to worry about your next meal. Okay, so there's broke versus cheap, right? There are
Okay,
people,
disposable income. That's what we're like, not having the disposable income for dating.
but that's the thing. I'm pretty sure a lot of these, in fact, I know a lot of these dudes have money.
Yeah.
Dimitri, case in point, makes twice as much as I do, but puts their value in things, Magic the Gathering, video games, extension packs, the car.
There's like levels of there's like financially broke, there's mentally broke, there's emotionally broke, and then there's spiritually broke.
There are people who watch on YouTube and there are people who listen to it on Spotify, but like you can see my face. I'm like, y'all.
And that's the thing, is like when you are broke, you're in survival mode. Whether it's like poverty, worrying about your next meal, or like poverty as in worrying about making rent or not having the disposable income and or budget for extracurricular luxury activities.
But like a lot of these dudes do have it though. If you didn't buy the Funko Pops, if you have 40 Funko Pops,
Budgeting and prioritizing things, it's just not a thing. I get it. I get it. I can count on 3 fingers how many men I have met in my life who understood financial budgeting and prioritization. I get it. It's very rare. Does it happen? Yes. I just haven't seen it happen for me. Where like, I'm bougie, you're bougie, but I can get down and dirty. I'm here for the quality time. I like picnic. You're not going to get it after the first date. Date 2, date 3, take me outside. Let's go hiking. Let's do something outdoors. Let's go fishing. I'm into those things.
I need a potential partner to treat me better than I treat myself. And I don't make a lot of money, but I make good choices. I make good choices. I make good investment. I realize that I'm just really good with money. I'm good with money. So if you make a scintilla more than I do,
This is scientifically proven. There is a correlation between being broke and not being creative, which is odd because a lot of our artists and performers are broke.
you called it. I'm a hedonist. Okay. I seek pleasure. I really do. I want to have fun. I want to have a good time. I'm a pleasure seeking creature. But business is business. And I've had to, since a very, very young age, be cognizant of where the next meal is coming from. You might have it, and then 6 months later, you do not have a job. I've been through it all. I've worked in every segment of this American life. I've worked in business. I have worked in the military, which is the government. I have worked in nonprofit. I have worked in every facet. I've worked in fast food. I've worked in retail, super young, but I've done that. Every time I was cognizant of my goals, the things that I wanted to do. And guess what? I haven't paid for a date, but I still have dating budget.
I mean, you have to. Ladies, if you're out here listening, if you ain't got it, don't go out. Men, if you ain't got it, stay the home. It's really as simple as that. So I do have a problem with that. And I see this shit all the time. Little 18, 19-year-olds coming out right out the woodwork and saying he needs to make 6 figures. I'm like, what 18, 19-year-old is making 6 figures?
There are some, but the point being, I don't make 6 figures. So, like, my thing is, yes, there are women out there with outsized expectations, but again, the young ones. I'm old. I'm old.
This conversation is for the people who are like us.
Right.
People-
I am dating my peers. And again, if you watch the episodes, I am nothing if not consistent. When I was broke and I was in financial dire straits after my divorce, it ruined me. Ruined me. I had less than nothing and I had to dig myself out of a hole. So I know I suffered. I suffered for years. I didn't date though. I didn't put that burden on anybody else. Like I wish I had declared bankruptcy. Again, pride, shame, a lot of those things with upbringing. So like I worked myself out of it. And then once I worked myself out of it, I set goals. First and foremost, make sure my offspring does not suffer the way that I do. Make sure she's set. That was my priority. All of these years of celibacy has its reasons and it's rooted in a lot of things from personal history, personal disposition, blah, 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 whatever, whatever. But I also know who I am. I prioritize things. I make lists constantly because if I didn't, I wouldn't do anything. So I make lists. Number 1, get out of debt. 2, take care of my offspring. Number 3, fix this body of mine because I was in rough shape after my divorce. And then 4 was get my education. So all of that takes years and years and years and years. So I wasn't on the market. I'm on the market now because I'm in a place where I'm empty nesting. I'm living on my own. So the security, the safety concern that I had at the back of my mind all the time was I don't want randos in my daughter's life. I don't want that. It was a limiting thing for me. I know that I could have pursued a relationship years and years and years ago, but like it was a fear thing. Like I wanted her to live independent of any mess that I had interpersonally. It was a priority for me. They have shifted. She's out of the house. She's thriving. She's somewhere else. Like she's an adult now. I'm so happy. I made good investments. I waited on things. I could have sold my house a long, long time ago. I wouldn't have made very, very much money out of it. I held it. I rented my house when I was in Florida. I took the differential. I rented for less than what I was paying my renters. I took that money and I socked it away. So I'm not a rich woman in the sense that I make a ton of money, but I've made good choices. By nature, nothing's guaranteed. For me, it's not 2 months of savings. It's a year of savings because I know that, listen, I'm going through a career change now. I might go back to school. I want to start a business. So the money that I've been socking away is going to go into that. Again, I also have a dating budget.
So we are people who make smart choices.
Yeah.
Being in a financial hardship is not a deal breaker for me. You need to be making smart choices.
You know what it is? It is a deal breaker for me. You've seen the receipt. I don't want to worry about money when I'm supposed to be having fun. I don't want to worry about it. It is a deal breaker for me. If you are going through it financially, hit me up in 6 months when you've worked yourself out of it.
As long as you're comfortable paying your own bills and you've got the disposable income to go out and have fun, by all means. I'm looking for financial stability, financial security. The stability and security is important. And the easiest way to signal that is having the financial stability for it. Because when you're struggling and you're not, when you're broke, you're operating from a deficit. That's really how that goes. And because I'm a fixer, self-proclaimed empath, for those of us out here, I need you to have your life together. We've already gone through this. It's so ingrained heavily into me to be the one reaching out to help you fix it. Okay.
I got over that a long time ago.
What else?
Moving goalposts without negotiation.
So that goes into manipulation.
We start out one way. We have a set of agreement. And this happened to me 3 times just in a year, right? We have a set of agreements. I am direct. If I see something or if something bothers me or if it didn't come up while we were in the first date, second date, third date, we got down phase. If I, for whatever reason, left something off and I think about it, I've been tested, tried. I say, these are the conditions under which we date. This is our dynamic if we have one. And I haven't always had a dynamic. I think people get scared when they're like, what are you into? And I'm like, this is the next thing. I'm into a lot of things. There are things that I like. There are things that I love. And then there are requirements, right? Sometimes that Venn diagram, the circles, and there's something in the middle or a few things in the middle where I like it, I love it, and it's a requirement. But most of the time, that's not the way it is. And it works on the individual. In my latest, I found out something about myself. My range is way larger than I thought it was. There are a whole lot of itches that I would like to scratch on a regular basis. So we start off, we negotiate for the way things are going to look like, and then in drips and drabs and repetitively, instead of, hey, let's talk about something in our relationship that I would like to see happen, or this is a desire of mine. Can we talk about it? Things get mentioned. So I had a couple of relationships that were not PIV because we didn't start out that way. And I didn't want to, I was not curious about it. It was not a thing for me. And instead of talking to me about it, a comment, I can't wait to talk to you. But that's not what we did.
That was,
It's happened twice. We started one way, and I'm not a static person. We can grow.
If we start off with no PIV and those little side comments are there, they don't even realize what that is. That's guilt tripping.
You're like, guilt tripping. You're not asking. You're not making an ask.
You're being presumptuous. I can't wait to fuck you. I'm like, that's fucking presumptuous. That doesn't make me feel safe.
This is the thing. It'll be like mid makeout session or mid something. I call it the whisper campaign, right? I would like to do something, but instead of asking it,
they're going to emotionally manipulate you.
Right. With the first individual, it wasn't PIV. It was, I have a hard limit as far as breath play is concerned. I don't like it. I don't like this. So you sneaking your hand from here while we are being intimate to here is not the way to get what you want. Number one, it's a hard limit. I don't like it.
I don't like that. You didn't tell me about this until well after that ended. I didn't know about this. Is there a reason why you didn't mention it?
Well, there was so much else wrong with that relationship. I complained about a whole lot of things. And so like that particular detail, it was part of it, but it didn't come up until later. Oh, this bothered me too. And this bothered me too.
When you said it's a hard limit, did he know that it was a hard limit?
Yes, I had communicated this earlier.
Because you've told me that it was more than once.
It was more than one.
And that you slapped him in the face more than once.
Don't do this because I told you not to do this. And I don't care about how good
Hindsight
you are
2020. Hindsight 2020. If anybody feels out my boundaries after I've said that this is a hard limit, there's a penalty. There's a penalty involved in there. You're going to pay reparations for that shit.
This was earlier in my journey. This was last year. I was just starting to feel my oats as a top. I was like, ooh, I like it. I like the view from here, right? So I was just feeling my oats, of just trying it out. It was what we agreed to. Well, when we got intimate, that was date 3 or 4. The hand creeped up and I was like, I told you this on date 1 that I don't like this. Don't do it. And then 2 dates later, it was him giving me his bona fides on he's an expert. He's taken this class. He worked with this person. We went on his FET, like blah, 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 like where he's doing this. And I was like, I don't care how good you are at this particular thing. I don't want to do it.
Okay, so for everybody watching and listening in, this is like Big Sister G talking. If anybody crosses a hard limit, do not see them again. Do not see them again. That's it. That's all. So on my end, I had somebody, we started a dynamic that was like strictly service. It was a service sub. Towards the end of month 2, these little comments start coming out. He made comments about my vagina because I wasn't wearing underwear and I stood over him. I was like doing rope play with him and he made a comment about the unkemptness of my vagina. How dare you make a comment on my nether regions, first of all, and how my nether regions appear as if it's any of your business at all whatsoever. Whether or not I shave, it's none of your business. There's no way in hell you would ever be anywhere near that or touch that. So that was like the first thing. And then the second one, everybody does this. All the guys do this. They start making comments about their dick. They start making comments about their little pee-pee.
I've been lucky about that. But again, I think I have the type of demeanor.
I had a gentleman that I cut off because he just kept overstepping, right? So like one time it was, hey, cheek smooch. And he fucking made out with my cheek. Okay. And so like
oh my God.
Listen, this is why I say this. And then another one was smooch. What do you think when I say smooch? That's a smooch. It was a smooch and then tongue. Ugh. And then kept making comments about his dick. My dick's too big. A lot of people can't take it. It's too big and it hurt. I don't give a I never asked. And then the other one was fucking George. Oh, fat. Anyways. Moving on. Moving goalposts. And so this dynamic, making comments about my nether regions, making comments about his nether regions. And then it became, oh, I would love somebody to be my key holder. Talking about chastity. Maybe someday dropping hints, right? Because that's what that is. Y'all are dropping hints thinking that I'm going to pick it up. And it's just like, ugh. And then it moved into, I'd love somebody to dress me. I need somebody to tell me what to wear. I don't have style. I don't know how to pick out clothes that'll look good on me. That's labor. There are people called stylists who get paid to do that. Why would I want to style and clothe a grown ass man when I've got bills to pay, clients to serve, a family to feed? They don't get it. Why would any grown ass woman want to do that for free? Because you're adding shit to my plate.
The thing is that like women's work is not valued. And I think that's the overarching theme of our whole podcast. Not everybody, but the majority, the people that I know. I have single women in my life who are struggling, good people. Honestly, my friends are my friends. Boundary, right? My friends are my friends, but like I want to snatch them up. I wish I had money. I wish I had the kind of money where like I could be like, you know what? This is how you deserve to be treated every day. Remember this day. Remember this weekend where we all went out and we balled out and we had a great time. And I know that there are friend groups that are like that. The internet is full of them. I have them. Let's wild out this weekend.
If I ever get married, because every day the glimmer of hope fades and fades. If I ever get married, the person, and I better be in a place in my life with the person that I'm going to be married to be able to afford to fly my family up, as in my mother and siblings, fly them up, put them up in a hotel, and then like the wedding party, right? I would like to be in a place in my life where my bridesmaids don't have to worry about anything other than just showing up. That's goals. That's goals. Show up. These are the dresses. They're paid for, or at least this is a voucher to go get the thing. If I ever get there, this is what that's going to look like for me. Listen, generosity. I think generosity falls in with growth. That's a different thing.
That's all I've got. I don't have a lot of relationship experience in this iteration of my journey, but we're giving advice. And I'm giving advice from a place of I've been there. One, I would take financial literacy, the 50-50 life. You're going to pay a lot. That was me in my 20s. That was me in 20s and my early 30s. I'm a feminist. I can take care of myself, hyper independent. Like, I don't need you. I'm an equal partner in all of this. So I was paying for things and also doing the emotional work and also doing the physical labor and also like doing the planning and the nuts and bolts of what our relationship looks like. I was in a relationship with a bunch of grown ass children. The men in my life were children and they exploited my nature. So I don't do 50-50. And if you want to ask me why, you can watch the episodes or just talk to me straight about it. Listen, I'm going to bring more to this than you do. And I have dated wealthier. I have dated people who have way more money than I have. But because it's woman's stuff, right? The funny thing is you said stylist. I have that in my repertoire. I'm a fashion player. You know this. You've seen this on more than one occasion. I go out. I go out and I step up and I can dress other people. I know what looks good on other people. So I do that work. Okay. And I have done it in relationship. I'm looking for a new job. Okay. This is what we're going to do on this next interview. I heard the interview that you were on. It wasn't terrible, but you didn't explain to that company why they need you. And I want to tell you why they need you because I know you well enough to say this is what you bring to the table. So you're going to get that too. If there is some kind of benefit out there, I'm the person who knows what the benefits are.
We're not a build a man workshop. We're not a pro bono build a man volunteer workshop.
I'm bringing the things that have a monetary value. This is who you hire your therapist for. This is who you hire your coaches for. This is who you hire your sex coaches for. This is who you hire your physio for. Because if you want to get into shape, if that's a desire of yours, you got Sporty Spice here. Sporty Spice loves to move. I will move with you. Do I have the certification? No, but I can take weight off of people. I have. It was part of my job when I was in the Marine Corps. If that's what you want, if that's a desire of yours, I like them big. I like them big. So it's not my desire to see you smaller, but if in your heart you want to be smaller for health, fashion reasons, whatever reason you want to do, if you want to gain some muscle and get lean, hang out with me. I got it. I'm that person that will find the thing that you need in general. Like I am a service oriented person. So like, I'm not coming here just asking for things. Now in return, see me for the fucking shining star that I am.
Interjecting on the 50-50 thing. I've been in a 50-50 relationship. I've also been in a relationship where I was being financially abused. Not abused, but like this guy lived in my house, didn't buy groceries, didn't pay no bills, didn't pay utilities. And then when I asked for contribution, oh, this motherfucker blew up. What are you doing with your money?
I'm feeding you and housing you.
Wrong answer. My 6-year relationship, this man will always have a special place in my heart because even though I paid 50% rent, he was a partner in every way.
But it's so rare. And even, I think we've talked about this. I'm a guest in your home. I'm looking around. I'm looking at the pictures in the frame. Who's in the frame? He's in the frame. The kids are in the frame. He and the kids are in the frame. I never see women with their own kids in their family photos when they're out and about. You know why? Because mom holds the camera. Mom thinks about these things. The things that men do not think about. I hear this all the time. Dudes, you want to pick up a woman? You want to pick up a woman? Do something for her. Do something for her. I make it my business. If I see a woman out alone with her kid and she's out in nature and it looks glorious, I take 40 snaps. I'm not the best photographer, but like one of those 40 is going to be in a frame somewhere because it's going to look really, really good.
My other red flag is, again, broad category, but like lack of emotional intelligence, lack of self-awareness, but like for me, it's like emotional reactivity. If you're the type of person who cannot take any sort of feedback from me, when I'm bothered, it's because I'm usually triggered and I need time to process what that is. A lot of my experiences, these people haven't given me time to process. And so it kind of comes out a little insensitive. And I don't mean it to be insensitive, but it's more of like, I need to get it out. I don't have time to package it to make it look pretty and cute for you. I'm triggered. You're not giving me time to process and you're pushing me. So it's going to come out. I've experienced this on more than one occasion where they come back with a rebuttal. They come back deflecting my pain by making it about them. It's not a thing that doesn't make me feel safe. If I come at you with something that bothers me, with something that hurts me, with something that's triggered me, and your response is to respond in defense of yourself, that's an automatic turnoff. I almost always immediately detach after that. Every time that has happened, stop being attracted to you, because it's like communicating is hard for me. It's why I'm doing this, is because every time I do it, it's a sensitization, it's exposure therapy for me. It gets easier and easier and easier. It takes a little bit for me to recognize why I feel bothered. It takes time for me. Sometimes I just need to let it out. I need some extra time to make it nice, to make it sound good for you. But otherwise, if you don't give me that time to process, it's going to come out. The emotional reactivity part. That was also like a red flag in dating profiles.
Yeah.
Like emotional intelligence, because 9 times out of 10, it's a one-way street.
Okay. This is the way that I am. That's a relationship trigger for me. I'm a growth person. I've worked on myself. I do a ton of reading. I've been in therapy. I'm going to stay in therapy. And I'm working on myself. I'm working on strategies to not just be a better person in a relationship, but just be a better person in general. Like to both honor myself and take care of my community, find the balance, right? I tip way too far one way or the other in my life. I can isolate and it's just about me. The world doesn't exist and I don't care. And there's depression, anxiety, everything that goes into that. Or I'm out and about in the world and people are asking me to do too much and I'm giving too much of myself out there. So finding the balance and working on what the balance is, taking care of myself, falling in love with myself, all of those things, forming relationships, maintaining relationships, not running at the first sign of friction. All of those things I am working on. And I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. She can tell you how dysregulated I can be. I was cussing up a blue streak.
Last vacation definitely like brought that out.
And I was big mad. I don't think you've ever seen me like super emotional. So I'm working on all of those things. And also just letting myself be at times. Like I needed to let all of that shit out because it was a lot. It was a lot. Okay, your next point being
when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. I've been watching this in real time with one of my family members' relationships where they moved in with his partner and they became nesting partners. And the whole purpose of dating, I think for me, like it typically takes a year for you to really get to know somebody inside and out, left and right, up and down. And the whole point of that is to decide whether or not you want to spend years with this person. And so it is very normal in that initial courtship, because that's courtship, to course correct. Somebody does something ignorant or somebody does something that bothers you or triggers you or upsets you or whatever it is. The whole point of that dating phase is to talk about these things and course correct. If they course correct for 2 weeks and they go right back at it, that's not authentic. It's not consistent. They go right back to doing the thing that's harmful to you or that's hurtful to you or that makes you feel upset. They don't care about you. They don't love you. That's what that means. Because when you love somebody, you actively avoid the things that hurt them. So like laziness. The big thing that I've seen here is like the unequal division of domestic labor. And this is a person where I've sat in their kitchen and I've watched her get up, cook and clean, feed the babies, bathe the babies, get the babies ready for bed. And this motherfucker sat and played video games for 2 hours. And then when he got up to help her, he didn't help her. He went and vacuumed the balcony while she was feeding toddlers, bathing toddlers.
I see it all the time.
So this goes into like red flag of relationships thing. So that leads to like the emotional reactivity, right? And I see this all the time. And it's a huge red flag to me. And I think I should be a deal breaker for me. Anytime an argument comes forth and they weaponize things that they've done for you. After everything I've done for you, after all the things I've given you.
It's never happened. It's never happened for me. You know why? because I've always done all the work. I've done all the work. I've
After all
always done all the
the
work.
things I've done for you, that's inauthentic. They don't know how to own accountability of the things that they're doing to hurt you, and they're blaming it onto you and shifting blame onto you, making it your fault. That's a red flag. Leave.
Darvo, look it up. DARVO, because it happens all the time. This is the narcissist playbook. Deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. So I say I have a problem with you. You say, no, that's not what the problem is. And then you're the problem. This is what your problem is. So forth, and so on. It becomes something where I say I have a concern, and then all of a sudden I walk out of the argument or the confrontation with, oh my God, I'm the worst person ever because my partner told me that I do this, and the next thing. And so Darvo is a big thing when talking about narcissistic traits.
To our audience, for everybody listening in, what are some of your relationship red flags? Has any of this resonated with you? Have you been at fault for doing some of these things, or have you had some of these things done to you? Let us know in the comments, email us.
And the email is aftercareafterdark@gmail.com. I like to read, I like interaction. So, feel free and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I don't bite unless you ask me to. And with that, good night.
Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. We hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. We'll see you next time. Good night.